The video shocking. Memphis police violently taking down Tyree Nichols, bringing him to the ground. The officer's aggression building, using pepper spray, punching and kicking him in the head and face.
No mother should go through what I'm going through right now. And I want to say to the 5 police officers that murdered my son, you also disgraced your own families.
Person with a gun who's created yet another tragedy in our city.
Through the heroic actions of our citizens, our community, to disarm this shooter, can't put a price on that. They save lives.
Thank you for inviting me into your homes each week for decades to bring you programs like Reporter's Notebook and Viewpoint and News for Your Sunday. You are our friends, you're our neighbors, and our great big extended family. I could never, ever have imagined back in 1982 that I would spend the majority of my working life and frankly my adult life so far right here at NBC4. Since I don't really like goodbyes, I'll simply say so long and God bless.
Deputies kicking a gun away from Alan Coley, who'd fired one shot inside the Dulles Town Center, hitting YouTuber Tanner Cook in the stomach. Cook operates a channel called Classified Goons. Cook and a friend initially approached Coley by playing a nonsensical phrase.
Get out of my business, like stop. Stop.
Commanders owner Dan Snyder has reportedly agreed to a deal in principle to sell the team.
It's a new era.
Do you feel it? Excitement is in the air, folks.
Just excited. I'm ecstatic about it.
And tonight it appears we are one step closer to new ownership for the Commanders.
Sources have told me that Dan Snyder and Josh Harris, the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Jersey Devils, have agreed in principle to a $6.05 billion sale.
Young fans about to see a win.
Can't wait for new blood, new action.
Glad to see old Danny take a hike, tell you the truth.
A barrage of bullets were fired last night on Hayes Street Northeast. Late this afternoon, we learned Ariana Davis was one of the victims. The 10-year-old was riding in a car with her family when she was shot and critically injured.
It is unacceptable to me that a 10-year-old little girl riding home with her mom, dad, and 2 siblings last night got caught in the middle of a barrage of gunfire on Mother's Day and is now in the hospital fighting for her life.
On the steps to the High Court, reaction tonight from both sides to the landmark Supreme Court decision striking down affirmative action programs in 2 separate cases.
It was heartbreaking. I honestly did not think it was real.
We need to put everybody on more of an equal platform, and right now I don't believe that's happening.
Doug Kammerer and Jessica Faith joining us now. Jessica, you were here Saturday night to watch all of that.
I was, and Doug, these were some of the strongest thunderstorms that weren't tornadic that I've ever seen, with some of the strongest winds. At one point, the National Weather Service measured 84-mile-per-hour winds in D.C.
Crazy to see, I guess, the damage that the storm caused.
So what was it? Well, it wasn't a derecho. It wasn't a tornado. It was what's called a microburst.
Most of what I do shows people doing stupid things in traffic. This is a little more than stupid. This seems to be almost a willful act of somebody barreling through and crashing into these cars in a couple different spots, and then doing the same thing with the ambulance that they stole.
Babies go. It was loved by so many.
This was the scene yesterday as dozens of dogs were rescued after the District Dogs location in Northeast on Rhode Island Avenue flooded during the heavy rains.
About 10 minutes, the walls were breached. About 5-6 feet worth of water inside. The stories that I've been told from my employees inside, they were climbing on shelves trying to survive. We moved the dogs to the highest ground possible.
Jacob Hensley, the owner of District Dogs, was grief-stricken as he described the scene that claimed the lives of 10 dogs.
We're all in this business because we love dogs. We love dogs so much.
It looks like a scene from Israel's darkest nightmare. A surprise attack beginning with thousands of rockets, followed by waves of heavily armed Palestinian gunmen pouring out of Gaza and onto the streets of cities and towns across southern Israel. The militants taking whole families hostage.
This is an attack that I don't think anyone saw coming.
Israeli officials say at least 700 people have been killed in what they're describing as their nation's 9/11.
Like every nation in the world, Israel has the right to respond, indeed has a duty to respond to these vicious attacks.
I'm profoundly saddened to stand before you today to report that 18 people lost their lives and 13 people injured in last night's attacks.
My son is dead, and I know he's dead.
As one can imagine, it's your worst nightmare.
He should be considered armed and dangerous. This is someone that should not be approached.
You know, how someone like this with these serious mental health issues has access to so many weapons, that's going to be in the aftermath of this a question that we'll need to ask.
No words can truly or fully measure the grief of Maine people today.
Situation began building around 4 o'clock this afternoon when neighbors first called 911. But the major event, the moment that house exploded, came after nightfall. This is what neighbors saw and heard tonight.
A suspect inside a residence had discharged a flare gun. During the course of that investigation, officers obtained a search warrant for the residence. As officers attempted to execute that search warrant this evening, the suspect inside the residence discharged several rounds. The house subsequently exploded.
We have a plan to unleash a brighter, more extraordinary future.
It really is a very, very romantic, but also pragmatic vision that we have that we can't do anywhere else.
saying goodbye to them essentially all year, but it's sad to see them finally go.
So hard to believe that this day has finally come.
This wall was empty when we left to go say goodbye to the pandas. And if you want to make your way around here, Nick, we got people on all four sides of the clock tower just signing and leaving their messages.
It's just kind of heartbreaking to see them go.
I thought it was great to say goodbye. I'm like, man, I really should have seen them a lot more while I was here.
I love the pandas.
Oh, there's his face. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Can you see it, you guys?
Goodbye.
Oh my gosh.